boy, welcome to AVX Live. I'm Joe Gilderson, President of Corporate Audio Visual Services, and I am joined by my co-host and Creative Technology Director, Mr. Ryan Finch.
Hi. That's it.
How we doing? That's all we get out of you, huh?
That's all we get. You get a big old hi. Happy New Year. How's that?
Oh, well, Happy New Year to you as well, Mr. Finch, and to our entire audience.
Indeed. Joe, are you enjoying our new revamped AVX look?
No, I'm not enjoying our new look.
That's correct, because I haven't created it yet.
Yeah, I see that. How about my lighting, though? How about my lighting?
It is pretty nice. Good. I've been thinking in my head if it would be, live video acceptable for me to put the headphones down, walk, and steal it from you in the middle of the show, because I could do that.
That's totally unacceptable.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Anyways, we're excited to...
Hold on. You ready for your surprise?
Sure. What do you got?
We do have something new. Do you know what it is?
I don't. Tell me.
Can you take a guess of what I always talk about right at the beginning of the show?
Oh, not music.
It's music.
Man, that's number one, terrible. Number two.
But it's on brand because this is our theme song now.
Okay. All right. Whatever works.
Go ahead. Carry on.
Whatever works. Look, let's get started. It's 2023. We have a great guest for our first show of the new year. We're very excited. Over the last couple of shows, we've done some different recaps. And I'm not sure if people caught the last show of 2022, but it was pretty awesome. And it was our holiday edition live from our front lobby in front of the purple Christmas tree. Bam! That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it looked great.
I mean, today's backdrop may not be as nice, but we actually have a live guest. I mean,
we do have
that's
a live
cool.
guest. We have something to offer.
Okay. Well, before we get to our live guest, Mr. Finch, let's see if you can nail your first go at 2023.
Here goes. You can find us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, live every Wednesday, specifically at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. While you're there, you can drop us a comment. You can be part of the show. Ask us questions. We will answer it because we're live. And then if you miss the show, you can see us. I missed one. You can see us on Facebook and on Instagram in little bite-sized pieces for the highlight reel. But also you can like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Smash it if you will. And you can do that on any of those channels that you may or may not be watching it on. Hopefully you are. I think that's all of them.
I think that's about all we got. I think that music distracted you, but either way, it's pretty good. And there's many different ways that people can find us, and hopefully they tune in. So let's get this party started. Let me tell you about our guest, Mike Dardano, marketing executive at BuzzPotential. His company focuses on making a positive difference for his clients that includes increasing profitable sales and enhancing community give-back efforts. Prior to forming BuzzPotential, Mike was Senior Vice President at Code Communications, where he oversaw day-to-day operations, account management, strategic, and new business development. Mike is an active member, and I mean he's really an active member, of the Business Council of Westchester, Armark Chamber of Commerce, Hudson Valley Gateway Chamber of Commerce, and several other local groups. I mean, he is involved, I got to tell you. But he's a big believer in supporting local charities and has recently helped raise funds for WestCop, Latino Youth College Access, Support Connection, and Homes for Veterans. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend and colleague, Mr. Mike Dardano.
Hi.
Wow. Hey, gentlemen. Happy New Year.
What's going on?
Happy New Year.
Yeah, those pictures are awesome. The music is fine, but I think we might be able to create our own music occasionally. So think about that. Special guest.
All right, it turns it off.
Music.
A special guest for special music. So you're saying we could record a soundtrack and then use it as the background of our show.
We have a group. It wouldn't be a bad idea to occasionally.
I mean, do we know how to do that?
I heard you did. I saw it was written on a bathroom wall that corporate AV knew what they were doing. So, and there you go.
All right.
Example. See, look.
Wow, that's a picture.
See, that is
that's actually 4 pictures.
Image. Yes, it's.
I know it's a little frightening. But listen, Mike D, how the hell are you? I see you got some product placement there today.
Oh yeah, I got a bunch of hats and things like that. But one of the things that's interesting that's happening is that places that you wouldn't normally think that are doing good marketing are, and I kind of experienced that over the holidays. I don't know if you guys follow this guy, but I would recommend that the audience check it out if you're a small business. It's called the Parkland Deli, and it's in Midland Park, New Jersey. This guy every day gets up and talks like this, and he goes, "Hey, today, 5 days till Christmas, and we got mozzarella, and we got this, and we got my grandmother's meatballs." It's Park, Parkland, not Parland. Although Parland would be kind of cool, but I'm not sure they would sell the right food.
So Parkland.
This guy is amazing. I visited him when I was doing something with the gym in Englewood for a fundraiser we did for Home for Veterans, and I went there and visited him. I got a picture with him with sunglasses. He gave me this cool shirt, which has an awesome, if you can see it, Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Merry Christmas. Isn't that cool? And it's just a deli. It's a regular deli. He's got thousands of followers. He's got the parking lot was packed, and all he's doing is being himself. He's being himself, and he's promoting his food, but his food is made fresh every day. And I thought about that, and I said, that's a great example. I've been sharing it with some of my clients and some of my friends. This is the kind of thing. It's authentic. It's from the heart. And he also does a lot of charity work that we should be doing at a local level. That's a perfect example of authenticity that we need in our local marketing, that I would argue in the national marketing is often missing because it's kind of, whatever it's, but as a local company for our local audience, that's a great example to check that out on Instagram and just see what he's doing, not to copy him, but to use your own personality and your own why to get across who you are as a company or business.
So it's funny because like authenticity, obviously, it's a familiar enough term, but I mean, it seems like it's so much more accessible for the smaller end of the spectrum in terms of businesses. And I'm not necessarily sure why that is. Is it just because there's more personality at the top level or the at the surface level, so to speak, as opposed to a larger organization? But it almost seems like it's something you can capitalize on if you're smaller. And I don't necessarily understand why. Does that make sense as a question?
Excellent point. It's an excellent point. He gets a gold star, Joe. I hope he gets a big raise for that question because that's awesome.
Thank you, Mike. There we go.
Parkwood. There's Pete. Sorry.
Parkwood. Okay.
Parkwood.
See, Parkwood. Thank you, Peter Malone.
Nice.
And this is great because Peter's comments are normally off color. So he's
we don't always broadcast that one.
Yes, exactly.
We keep that one hidden.
Sorry,
but back to authenticity. I'm sorry. Why was what I said so brilliant?
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the brilliant question.
Most humble dude. I'm just gonna tell you.
But here's the thing. At a corporation, you've got so many cooks in the kitchen, and the cooks in the kitchen create all sorts of issues. Let's have manufactured authenticity. What's the flavor of the month? Let's do this. Let's do that. Russell Brand has a great on YouTube. He has a great segment he did in December on what corporations do to try to make things feel like warm and fuzzy. So, for example, a packaged good company or a national pizza company, which technically you shouldn't be eating all the time, makes it sound like, it's warm and fuzzy. Eat this stuff all the time, and then if you
do, let's not preach. Let's not preach. All right.
Yeah. No, but my point is that at the large corporate level, you have too many cooks in the soup, and oftentimes the authenticity is manufactured. Okay. For a small business, that's not the case. If you want to showcase your authenticity, I think with small business, a lot of times business owners are, we don't want to show my real self, or it's got to be professional. And I'm not saying you have to be zany and crazy like those old Crazy Eddie ads. if you remember those. Some of these, Ryan won't.
I do remember those.
Joe
Those
does.
are good.
Yeah. But to
he's
what's
insane.
Yeah, it was insane. And he also got in trouble financially. But that's a whole other issue.
Different problem.
Right? But authenticity is important. For example, Stu Leonard's, he goes out to those farms. I mean, he does. He goes to the farms, and what do you see executives from large supermarkets do that? No, they don't. But they should. They should. He shops local farms. He's out there. He's showing that he's in the community. We all can do that if we want. The example we were talking about during the warm-up was my friends at A.G. Williams. A.G. Williams, which is a local, like that shiny head,
Nice.
we're our local painting contractor, and they do concrete floors. What they did at Small Business Saturday was they went around to 4 local businesses and shopped and showcased that. And that's all they did. And that's all they promoted. They showed they're in the community. And we know from COVID that we have to support our local community. We have to support our local community. We have to support local businesses. Those dollars stay within the market. And that's an edge that people need to promote, and in a good way. Not in a Kardashian way, but in a good way where you're, that's a whole other issue, but it's in a way that showcases you care about the community, you have a commitment to the community, your dollars stay in the community, and it helps us grow. So I know that was a long-winded answer, but
no, I liked it. Also, a comment
cool with
a comment from the crowd on the authenticity topic. Our own Marissa Madonia. You can't be authentically yourself if you don't know who you are.
Wow.
To know oneself. I don't remember the rest of the
quote. That's deep. That's pretty deep for this particular conversation.
Well, Madonia is very deep, and
that's true.
And she does have a online brand that's expected and that's known and that people love. And she's managed to carve that out for herself so that, when you guys brought her on, that brand that she has, which is very positive, now reflects on you, on corporate AV. And that's great. And that's a good thing. And she, she didn't do it overnight. She is the selfie queen, but she's the selfie queen in a good way. She shares her selfies with others. It's not just her own pictures. It's not just pictures of her kids. Right. It's pictures of other people, especially at business events. Yes. And showcases. It's not just about me. It's about everyone. It's about people that I know. It's about things that I care about. That's what's important. That's what people forget. Some people that just do that sort of thing, it's like me, 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 me. And what happens is it becomes noise. People just say, you know what, all these people do is self-promote. Do they do anything for them? Do they do anything for others? Or is it just about me, 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 sell, sell, sell? And social media allows us to do that, whereas traditional advertising and marketing, it's expensive to do that. You can, but it's expensive. If you're going to run campaigns in a print thing, if you're going to do that, that's a lot of money to showcase that. And you got to know who you are, and you got to know your why. And if you don't, if you're like, well, everyone's my customer, well, then you get a problem because that's too broad. You can break out segments, things like that. Work with a marketing consultant. They can help you, or work with your team, consult with your team. There's a lot of smart people that work in your business that can help you, or talk to your peers. The Business Council has a lot of smart members you could reach out to, or the Hudson Gateway Chamber, whatever business group you're part of, talk to them, ask them their ideas. That's done at networking events. You got a question, you got a problem. There's a lot of marketers that are in the Business Council that are more than happy to, especially if you're friendly with them, give you a couple tips. They're not going to be on the clock like, that was 15 minutes. I'm going to charge you $100 for that.
Good point. Now, do you think that things have changed in the digital marketing community in the last 6 months? Has there been anything that's kind of jumped out?
Oh, absolutely. One of the things is that you're seeing this now, is that the social media, venues change things all the time and don't tell you. Right. So, for example, on Facebook, last year at this time, when I was doing stuff for my clients, I would go in as me, and then I would then shift to them, but I still was me, I was them, but I couldn't join any groups as them. It was problematic. Now they changed it, the back end. And for some of my clients, I can sign in as them. I'm actually them. So, corporate audiovisual now, if I help you guys out on a post or something, now I'm corporate audiovisual. Well, that's great, but they never told us that. And for some of my clients, I'm still in that other 2022, no man's land. And LinkedIn changes constantly, and Twitter and Instagram, and they change things they don't tell you. So that's one thing. The other thing is that the influencer market, the influencers have been around for a long time. My friend Stacy Geisinger from Stacy Knows, she called herself an OG. I said she was an OI, original influencer. She's been around for a long time as an influencer for, 10, 12, 15 years, something like that. But she was web-based. But now this whole crop of newer influencers, and I'm not talking about and again, I'll use Kardashian as an example, where they're mostly trying to sell their own stuff, or these other influencers that just take pictures of themselves in bikinis. Oh, I'm an influencer. I'm a digital creator. Well, you know what? That's awesome.
I mean, nobody is very excited when I take pictures of myself in a bikini. I don't really know why.
I think there's a subcult of Joe Gilderson fan club that you just haven't found yet.
We actually blew one up.
It's your client to see if she would make me one, and she hasn't come up with one yet.
Is Fathead still around? Can we get like a big vinyl print out of that and put it in the conference room?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know if anybody's.
That would be a way to do authenticity in a print format, right?
Wow. Yeah, well, that's out of home. That's like outdoor it's doing outdoor marketing. Like you could go to Inspiria to Ronnie Ram and say, "Hey, I want a Fathead," and he could give you a Fathead, and then you could put it on your car and drive around with a Fathead.
That's an excellent idea. Well, speaking of social media influencers, actually, when I lived in LA, I lived next to a YouTube star, not next door. Her house was much larger than mine, and it was further away, but not, like pretty close enough that I saw her car all the time, and she had a vinyl decal of her face on her BMW. And I didn't know in that moment if I absolutely hated it or if I thought it was incredible. I'm still on the fence. I lean towards hate it, but she seems to be doing very well for herself. So now I'm at a loss.
You're not her target audience. See, that's
clearly not. Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You have to know your target audience. Look, some of this stuff is repulsive. Fans don't have a great show. You could do like, drum. You could do
I
it.
Had to just do it for a second.
No, but you could do it with drumming. Where
there was like subliminal messaging. Right
I'll get Mira May to give you some kind of male-oriented bathing suit, and then you can play drums. And it can be fans.
Well, and then is it Mira May or is it Mira Me? I mean, what are we doing? Let's look.
Don't do the Mira Me. It's Mira May. I mean, even though she has Latina roots, yes, but it's.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's
all right.
Another subject. That's this stuff here that which was a collaboration between Mira May and Marla Beth Inowitz Designs. Collaborations is something I want to talk about too. But going back to what you said about new stuff, so these influencers at a local level, and they're what we call micro influencers, okay, not mega influencers, micro influencers. They could have 5, 10, 15, 20,000 followers on Instagram. It tends to be Instagram centric, but it can be Facebook too, and it can also be LinkedIn and other TikTok as well. But it tends to be Instagram. And what they do is they go around and they will showcase new restaurants or new store openings, and companies, small businesses should invite them in to do a walkthrough. It's like having News 12 do it. It's just on a little bit smaller scale. I actually went to an influencer lunch once in Harrison, and it was unbelievable. I was the only guy there, and I watched them, and I just watched them work, and they're cutting up the food, and they're taking pictures, and they're doing it. And so for that restaurant owner, he got all this free publicity from 10 different influencers who have audiences all over the place. There is some crossover too, but that sort of thing, the local influencer market, which also leads me into pop-ups, which is a big thing, which has been there before, but now should be part of a marketing program for local businesses if it's appropriate. These pop-ups that are created oftentimes by influencers get tremendous coverage by the influencer, but also traditional media. The pop-up in White Plains that happened for the holiday market, News 12 came and did a wonderful piece on it. So there's a merger of traditional and social media, but these influencers can help you with it, that is really coming to the forefront now, especially for 2023.
Curious, how does a small business tap into a micro influencer community? I mean, are they sliding in the DMs?
Well, that's a great Joe. I don't know what you gave Ryan today. These questions are I don't know how you didn't be magna cum laude at your college, but
actually summa cum laude. That's
okay. That's good. Yeah. I was
while we're on the me topic,
he's the most humble. He's the most humble.
I had a 2.1 GPA, but I had other issues. And it was the early 80s. So, anyways,
stay focused, man.
I'm sorry. I digress. But you can be an influencer. A small business, for example, the Parkwood Deli. He's an influencer for himself, but he's also does charitable stuff and whatnot. And he has a huge fight. He's become an influencer for deli food. So a small business can become an influencer for their own lane that they're in as well. So the A.G. Williams example I gave you. Another example is my friends at Tompkins Excavating. Their sons do a lot of videos of equipment. Okay. And they take videos on Instagram for equipment. I put one of their Komatsu, because they're big with Komatsu construction equipment, on LinkedIn. It got 2,500 views. 2,500. I was shocked because I never did that before. So they have become social influencers for the local construction industry. And I put it on LinkedIn. And so I said to Stacy, the owner, I said, we got to put more of these videos of, and it was a picture. I'm sorry, it was a picture, but pictures and videos of the construction stuff on LinkedIn because it got a lot of views. And that's one of the things you want to do is initially get exposure. And then of course you want to get people engaging in your content, but you can become a local influencer. The other way to do it is to go on simply, if you have no connections, to go on Instagram and type in Westchester blogger. You'll see bloggers. There is a girl, Westchester blogger, who does great stuff. There's 914 pop-ups. There's Ahead of the Trend TV. There's a whole bunch of them that are really, really good that will visit your business. You can talk to them. They sometimes just do it for the heck of it. You got to give them some, free food if it's a restaurant or whatnot. But that's what they do. Jessie from What's on Westchester. She's awesome. She will go and visit businesses. They do these cool little videos. So that's a way to do it. And if you don't have any concept or whatever, you can just, message me on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, and I'll tell you who to contact, because I'm the only BuzzPotential in the world. There is no other.
Wow.
Amen.
That is impressive just by itself.
Well, I don't know about that, but
that's pretty cool. The idea of micro influencers and helping small businesses like that, because I'm sure most small businesses don't think of that as part of their plans of growth. It's just if you're doing something or a service, it's hard to kind of get to planning how to promote yourself to begin with. Other mind something that is probably a little abstract for a lot of small businesses and local businesses.
Our friend Perry DiNapoli at the Briarcliff Manor. So one of the things that he started doing, and I'm pretty sure it's because his daughter did it, because he was very traditional and whatnot. But they take pictures of sunsets on the Hudson River, and there's a whole culture of nature and sunsets and skyline stuff.
It's in the hashtags.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And one of the things that I get from my personal social media is when I put pictures up of the sunsets, because I'm on the hill in Tuckahoe, I get a lot of response from that. And that's just, hey, it's a cool sunset, and that's it. But something as subtle as that can have influence and on a level, and they go, wow, that's pretty cool. These people, great hashtag.
Wow. You know what? And it was funny because I was going to pause and say, Joe, this is a hashtag. I even drew it out, and then you just threw it up there. There goes that.
Oh, boy.
And our first interview we talked about hashtag, and I didn't know what it meant initially. I thought it had something to do with a plant that was grown. I know. I'm just saying. I'm touching it. I'm going to the edge, but I'm not going to go over the edge. But I realized that it wasn't. That it was more substantial than that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, listen. While we're let's move on from your version of hashtags. And so if people are using video in their overall digital marketing plan, I mean, are they only using it on social media? And is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it TikTok? Like, where are they using it?
So you mentioned TikTok. So I just want to talk about TikTok for 1 second. I say this to people and they ask me about TikTok. I say, well, if I'm going to have my privacy violated, I'd prefer to have it by American companies, not necessarily by the CCP. And although
you do like to be, no, forget it.
No,
wow.
but the TikTok, I don't know if TikTok's going to get outlawed. I think you're going to see that it might, because it is run by the Communist Chinese Party. So, and they do allow different kinds of posts in America than they do. You don't see Tide Pod challenges in China. Okay. So TikTok, but taking that away and just saying, what about video? TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, video gets the algorithm excited, and good video. But in the old days, you did a video, you did it for, and I'm old days, I'm talking early 2000s, you did a video maybe to run on News 12, which is great, which is a viable source for advertising. And then maybe you put it on a CD, and then maybe you put it on your website, but it would depend on how good your server was, and it buffered and it looked like. But now video can be purposed all over the place. You can embed a link to a video in your email. You obviously have YouTube. You can put it all over the place, and video becomes a great way to bring your company to life that pictures can't do. So now that's why that the deli guy, so many other people that use video. Tom Kozeski uses video really well, and there are many others. At the Business Council, it's very simple. Taking a video of walking through the crowd gets tremendous exposure on Instagram and LinkedIn. And of course, you tag people. That's the other thing. You got to make sure you tag people, not hashtag people, but tag them. They'll get a notification. They'll see it. So simple, authentic, organic video is good. High process, wonderful video has its place as well, but not everybody can afford that. So one of the things I think is interesting for Joe, for you and Ryan, is that you guys take a lot of video at events, right? They hire you. Right. And I very rarely see the companies that hire you to do that do anything with the video. They should chop it up.
Unfortunately, that's true.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and that is very true.
Right. And it's a shame, because you have that video. There's a lot of good nuggets in there. You take little 30-second clips. You could use that for months, depending on, how great the live video is. You just don't see it. And it's a shame, because it's not that hard to do clips. It's hard to go through it if it's a 2-hour event. But once you find half a dozen clips, you're good to go. You're good to go. And if you need someone to edit it, you just hire someone to edit it, or maybe they can hire you to edit it, whatever. It's real simple. And you're talking 30 seconds. Nobody wants to watch a 5-minute, blah, 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 blah. They don't, it's just not going to happen. You see it when you look at the statistics for Facebook, especially Facebook, because it's good with showing how long someone's on a video. They drop after like 3, 5, 10 seconds. So you have to have a good video that's short and sweet, that gets to the point.
You gave me some ideas there, Mike. You gave me some ideas there. And the reality is, a lot of the organizations that we're working with and doing the capture for that do a good job with that footage are the corporate groups that we're not really allowed to, promote or show the content, because it's all, proprietary. They own it now. So, unfortunately, there are good examples that we just can't share. But it's curious to think of what we do, or what we could do with the things that, and just to show people what they can do with it and what the value comes from it. And it's a little bit of a pro bono-esque type of thing, but maybe there's a little bit of a two-way street.
Exactly.
Oh, look at that. Wow. Good
Speaking
old Zach.
Of Facebook.
Vertical video. I'm sorry. Grabbing someone's attention in 1 minute or less, or else people will scroll right by. And I tend to think that is even shorter than that, because when you're scrolling, right, you have 2 seconds to get me to stop from scrolling on to the next video, right? There's such a narrow window of capture my attention in that format in particular. But I don't know. It's something that, I think, to your point, Mike, it's the groups could be doing a lot more with that.
You especially for nonprofits. If you're a nonprofit's not going to want to have, unless it's depending on what you're filming. But if it's a fundraiser, right? Then why couldn't you say, okay, guys, this is awesome, but there's really some cool elements to this. Let's to stretch it out, because you can always donate, let's just take 5 or 6, short, 30-second or whatever clips from this. And that gives you technically good post. That's 6 weeks of posts with the videos. And I don't see enough nonprofits do that. And they should. They should, especially the nonprofits, because it's a lot of times there's really good content, or they have a really engaging speaker or really wonderful stuff that they said. That would be cool, but you just don't see it, and it's not that big a deal to do it from a cost standpoint because you've already filmed it. So
right. Mike, how many groups do you come across that actually do? Because you mentioned Tompkins being a good example where I'm forgetting their first names. It's killing me, but they're capturing their own footage and using that for the purpose of the company. How many groups do you see that are doing that for themselves as opposed to hiring someone like us to come in and capture for them?
That's a good question. Okay, so it depends. So if they don't, their budget is such that with a contractor, Tompkins or A.G. Williams, anybody's in the construction industry, except the big ones like Turner and things like that. But the smaller family-based firms have a situation where feast or famine. It's like a real estate agent where, I just made a big commission on selling this house, but then for a year they got nothing. So with them, the cash flow is not steady. Sometimes it's there and sometimes it isn't. It's feast or famine, like California weather, right? So what they have to do is they have to kind of learn how to do it on their own. And know that the phones, I have an S10, I need to upgrade, but if you keep your phone clear and you know how to use lighting properly, whatever, you can take some awesome video, especially outside, without having to hire someone. The problem I have is that when you're doing something inside and the lighting stinks and you have ambient noise, and there's so many things that you guys know what to do, even like, the mic, when you put the mic on your lapel thing, it's like, that makes a huge difference. A microphone on a cell phone makes a huge difference. Those kind of things that, if it's appropriate, need to be done. And that's where you have to say, okay, this is out of my league. I have to bring someone in. But if you don't have the budget, you can do it, but you've got to be aware of the obstacles that you face with lighting and other stuff that a professional would know about.
But it sounds like that really anybody could get started, though. With their phone, they have a tool that they can start something, but they need that idea first. How do they generate those ideas?
Well, this is the Armonk Art Show. So they do a lot of, they actually are the largest art show in the Hudson Valley, but they do a lot of.
How many hats do you have?
Oh, I have a ton. Just as a sidebar, before we get back to that video thing, one thing I think that people need to do is they need to get swag. Swag rocks. Swag.
I agree. There we go.
Swag, because you're a walking billboard. You're a walking billboard. People see it. You tag them on social media. If you have partners, wear their swag. Robert Chaffee, our friend from Progressive Computing, is now taking swag from partners and friends, and it's a lot of swag, and he's taking pictures and putting it on LinkedIn with his BMW i8 and showcasing that swag of that person. It's a great idea. He does computer services, but he's doing that. That's the kind of thing. Now, eventually, hopefully, he'll do video with it, but right now he's doing pictures, and it's great. That's the kind of thing that helps with authenticity, and it helps with viral marketing. When you're wearing people's stuff, when you have something cool like sunglasses, I have my friend Robeson sunglasses right here. I wear them all the time. People notice that. A pen is fine, but being a walking billboard is important. So that's another thing. But anyways, back to the video stuff. You don't have to. You just have to experiment. What I would recommend if someone's going to start doing a little video on their own is play around on their own without showing it on your business. Play around in your house with lighting, go outside, see if the highway noise is too much. Play around with it on your own without putting it on your business. That's how I learned how to use my camera. So I use my cell phone to experiment with it, learn how to use the camera, learn what its capabilities are, play around with different apps that might allow you to enhance things. And then you can try to do some of it on your own. But don't just think, I can do it. I took a video of my cat. No, don't do that. Because
Sheba.
Yes, Sheba. Yes. And I always take pictures of her in different light and whatever. She eats too much, so I have to get a wide angle lens, but that's a whole other issue. Yeah, but you got to practice. You can't.
So it's to some extent, it's, while you're practicing, you still need to maintain a certain standard, when it comes to the brand association, and that I think this is where you have to set authenticity aside, where you're not saying like, here I am, Stu Leonard, I suck at video, I'm really trying hard though. It's like, no, you need to maintain a certain threshold of quality. Otherwise, it no longer is helping with the authenticity thing to say that I'm trying, I suck still.
So, someone once said to me, and it wasn't to me, it's been said many times before, but in order to violate the English language, you have to know the English language.
Right.
So if you're producing good videos, you can show the blooper loop, the blooper reel. That's fun. But you can't just be a blooper and occasionally do something good. Right. And that's the thing. So it's better to tone it down, get comfortable. You know how it is. People see a camera and they're like, they're not used to it. So
true.
It's very true.
Some people totally freeze, man.
They totally freeze, and they're vivacious and blah blah in front of everything else. But then when you put a camera in front of them, they freeze. I mean, I know people that can kill you with one punch, but you put in front of the camera and they implode. So you got to practice that too, because if you're going to be the spokesperson, you can't be like, "Hi, my name is Ryan. We have an awesome thing to show you today, and if you're not going to fall asleep, maybe I'll talk about it." You can't have that monotone thing.
No,
that's something that a lot of businesses are afraid when the boss is talking and they're like, they're boring the hell out of me. They're afraid to deal with that.
In your mind, and obviously leaving all names and associations out of this, what do those what do you do? What do you do if you don't have that person?
So if the leader of the company,
that's a good question.
I don't know where these came from.
Today. I had my Wheaties this morning.
Oh my God! Wow! This is This is unbelievable. Young, fresh, vibrant. Not so young Ryan is vibrant today. It's wonderful.
Ouch.
You have to find someone then within the organization, because this is at a local level. I know that big businesses hire spokespeople and all that. Like Matthew McConaughey for Buick and whatever, all that stuff. Blah blah blah. But if you have someone, like, I'll give you an example. You guys are both quite capable of being able to do it, but having Marissa as an arm of your brand is a huge asset. Huge asset. Huge. And she's been like that wherever she's been previously. Right. So there's always somebody in your group, in your organization, that can do that. Maybe it's a vendor, maybe it's a friend, but to hire an actor for it,
it's murky.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. So, and you have to be able to address it with the. I was watching a local nonprofit did a fundraiser, and the director, president, oh my God, it was painful. It was painful. And all the momentum from the other good stuff that was being shown, the energy level went way, way down when that person spoke. So sometimes you have to have a hard conversation, and you do it in public. You don't do it like, on Twitter and then get fired, like what happens when you insult Elon. You have to, you have to be in a good way. Look, you're a huge asset. Yeah. We wouldn't, blah, blah, but you can't be talking monotone, and you have to have some sort of personality in it. And if you can't do it, then the other thing is, Ryan, you can also send someone to speech training.
Right, like media training. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Media training, speech training, things like that, because there is something there. Everyone has it. Sometimes they don't know it. And I went to Dale Carnegie years ago, and that was helpful, I think. Maybe not, but
I mean, most of the high-level executives certainly do that. And I mean, when we see them and they're on stage, I mean, it's a performance, to be quite honest. Right. They are skilled.
Exactly.
At delivering it, and with, they know where to emphasize the right points. They're very skilled.
Well, and to the point about video, being the central topic here, it is, important to also point out that a lot of times that the people who aren't necessarily good in one area are really good in another area, right? Like maybe you're not good on camera, but you're incredible on a stage. Well, that's okay. Like lean into that, right? I mean, it sounds like that's what you're saying is like, all right, well, you don't have to be the person in front of the camera. Find somebody who is good in front of the camera and let them be that, for you, or go get media training. Because it's not always just that this person is not, good. It's just that this is a particular skill that they don't necessarily, they haven't developed. I don't know. I think it's interesting too, because there's also a new wave of they're not even millennials anymore. Now I really am old. of the Gen Zers that are, they have their own self-taught media training and not necessarily realizing that can be a very valuable career asset for them.
It's hard work. It's not easy. I was recently doing a training session with a nonprofit, and the people that were doing their social said to me, "Is there any way to automate tagging, not hashtagging, but tagging and engagement?"
That's a fair question, because that stuff it's tedious.
It's tedious.
There's no way to do it cross-platform.
There is no way to tag people automatically. There's no way to I mean, you can certainly on Facebook, it allows you to post on 3 groups if you're a member of a groups, but to get the full group experience, you have to do it manually and send it with LinkedIn. You can't tag an image on Instagram unless you go in there. So it's hard work, but if it's done correctly, it's worth it. So media training is something that if for small businesses, and Joe, you're right, this is big businesses usually have the training or whatever, but for small businesses, there's probably some personality that you might have that you don't realize, or someone like a Marissa or like a Madonia that can then be that representative and showcase the business in a light that gives it the energy that it deserves.
Yeah, I think you're right. These are all really good points, because especially owner operators in either a small business or a small service, they haven't had a chance to develop that skill. But this is a really good point. And I think that's a great jump off point for a lot of people, because maybe they're not that person, but they might have that person. So they got to look around within their connections and their ties close to the brand. I don't want to get too far off topic because we're kind of moving along here, but we recently did this event. It was for Arts Westchester, it was their gala. But we've also done several events in the last 6 months in Manhattan that were either actual pop-up events in empty retail spaces, or they were made to feel like they were a pop-up event. Well, what are your thoughts? Because you had mentioned it earlier, but what are your thoughts on these types of events?
It's funny. When I talk to people about pop-ups, especially people that aren't really familiar with them. And if you're in Westchester, you probably know the corner there on Central Park Ave, up as you go north from Yonkers, and you get to that choke point there where there's always empty stores. And there's that one store that's on the northwest corner that's always a Halloween pop-up. We all know Halloween pop-ups, right? Oh, they come up in September and they're selling, stuff made of plastic and crap and chemicals from China. Put it on. That's a traditional retail pop-up. But these pop-ups are kind of rolling pop-ups that just sort of happen. And they're also happening in office buildings. They're happening all over the place. And what they do is they allow a building from a commercial standpoint, a commercial real estate standpoint, it allows an empty building or an underutilized building to have pop-ups that will bring people in, and it can be local retailers, local makers. That's a big thing now, is popping up with local makers, people that produce things in the Hudson Valley or New York City. It's not so much, people that are selling, franchise things. It's a company out and wherever, and they sell jewelry from that company. I mean, that's fine. But this is people that, are making stuff locally. There's a big push for the, local maker market. And those pop-ups can be helpful to your business. I'll give you an example. Youth Med Spa, which is in Scarsdale. We did a pop-up with Ahead of the Trend TV in November and brought in Merimee, Sacred Seed Soap, Sage Cacao, which gets cacao from indigenous tribes in South and Central America, which is pretty cool, and 9-round boxing, which is in Hartsdale, and we did a pop-up and brought people in that normally wouldn't go into his facility, and he got a couple of clients from it, and they sold stuff. So Westchester Blogger is another one. She does, Itzel's really good at putting together events. They did a fashion show. She did a fashion show at the Premier Collection with, I think, Yummy Domain. I think they did it together. And they had a fashion show. It was in, I think, early November, late October or something. I went to that. And that was a great way to get people into that dealership. So these things should be part of a marketing plan, not just having them come in and check your place out. That's good, the influencers, because most of these people that do the pop-ups tend to be influencers. 914 Pop-Ups is another one. Melissa's awesome. But that's something that's something that all businesses, if they have the right space and the right mindset, should consider to do, because normally the cost of it is the vendors pay the influencer or the person that's setting it up, and the business just has to, if they have some food, they have to do that. But it's a low cost thing because the vendors are paying the influencer to market it, and they market the hell out of it. Then each individual booth person or table person markets it themselves, so it gets that viral organic thing that you want.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I do love the idea of, focusing on what is made local, because it does create uniqueness, right? And I think we see this in terms of our work on the road, or at least I can speak to it, is when we work on projects that are outside of our home market, it's much more common, because in many cases it's an offsite for those groups too. It's much more common for them to source something locally as like part of the experience, but it's much less common when it is a local group, but it doesn't necessarily need to be that way. And I think that that's something that, planners can certainly take advantage of, even working inside of their local market, is here's something you can really only get right here. Right. And it's different than anything else, anything else you can get elsewhere. So
yeah, that unique experience, experience, you guys do that with your ability to be flexible and the kinds of audiovisual services that you can do. I had a friend recently, I don't know if Joe, you guys connected, but she needed a microphone and whatever for a pop-up that she was doing. And, you can do something as rent that equipment out to some big, whatever, a giant, event that you can do. That flexibility, that ability to turn on a dime, that kind of thing is cool. And these pop-ups allow you to do some marketing that is low cost, but it'll get a lot of bang for your buck from the standpoint of influence and reach. And then hopefully if people come, then you get that engagement part and then can establish the relationships you need.
It's very cool. Very cool. Well, these are all great ideas, Mike, and I think that's what local businesses and small businesses, I know that they're certainly looking for ways to get started, but I mean, we have plenty of other clients that are larger organizations that they're trying to stay on the edge of what is current on the digital marketing side. And I think these are great tips. But Mike, we have come to that point in time where I got to boot your ass off the show. I mean, I don't know what to say.
Well, it's okay, because I hear rumbling in the litter box, so it might be time for Shiva to start yelling. So I think it's appropriate.
Oh, no, man. We don't want to upset Shiva. I mean, that's not the way we want to end our show.
No, not the first one of 2023.
No, it's so good. Mike, you've been great. These are really great tips. Really good ideas. We saw, I don't know, maybe 7 hats. I mean, what are we thinking? We want to go through them? I mean, we saw Millionaire. We saw Tompkins.
Wartburg.
We started with, did we see Wartburg?
I did.
We did see Wartburg. I saw Wartburg.
Yeah, you saw Wartburg. It's hard because it's, and you guys, they're a client of yours. It's hard because it's a little bit darker. Yeah. Armok Garcho, Tompkins.
Armok. Yeah.
A.G. Williams, Balancing Life's Issues, Wendy Wollner, my friend. You saw the Mira May, Marla Beth Enowitz Socks, and you got the Parkwood Deli guy. So, yeah, a lot of stuff here.
So you're saying we should tag all of those organizations in this?
Well, if you don't, I will. I mean, this Pro Clinics, my friends Pro Clinics. Oh, I will. That's one of the reasons I did it, because I want people to see this video, and by tagging them, they'll be like, oh, they're in there. And I'll say, and I'll mention the hats that I wore. That's the other thing I do. On just a quick thing on fashion, I will tag what the hat is, what the this is, what the shirt is, but I don't know what my pants are. So I usually say I don't care about the pants and the shoes, because
Kohl's also doesn't.
Kohl's isn't that exciting. Oh, I went to Kohl's and got these pants. It's not gonna.
Yeah, we try not to talk about pants on this show.
That's true. That's a theme.
Well, listen, Mike, thank you very much, and we appreciate you being the first guest of 2023. This is landmark stuff.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Really cool. Really cool.
Happy New Year.
Well, we're going to catch you soon. Mr. Finch, this is pretty good, don't you think?
Yeah, we had Hat Man. I love that. It's like Batman, but
I see what he did there.
I see what he did there too. That was good.
Yeah,
also, you know what I realized halfway through the show? I am wearing the exact same shirt as I was wearing on the last show. Talking about brands. I mean, look, apparently I am loyal to a fault. Oh, well.
Well, you're just trying to keep it real. I mean, you are the most humble. But Ryan, why don't we remind people, we got to get this show wrapped up. We got to remind them how to find us. So let's see if you can nail it this time.
You can find us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube Live. You can do that every Wednesday at 1 p.m. And while you're there, you can drop us a comment. You can be part of the show, just like Melissa Andrieu. Great show and tips. Thank you very much. And while you're there, you should like, comment, share, subscribe, all of the above. And if you missed the show, that's okay. You'll see highlights, bits and pieces chopped up on Facebook and on Instagram afterwards.
Absolutely. Fantastic job. Do we have any music to go out with? I mean,
you bet your rear end we do.
Either way, everyone, thank you. We're excited to get started in 2023. Have a great day. Ryan, I'm still good with my phrase. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.
I'm going to come up with a new phrase, and it's going to be on the spot. Stay golden, pony boy. Oh, that's a good one.